welcome to homework 1.3. So this is the second time I'm recording this because we had a little technical glitch. So here we go. Hopefully this works this time. So members of the band sold juice and popcorn at a college football game to raise money for an upcoming trip. The band raised $2,000. The amount raised is divided equally among the M members of the band. Which equation represents amount A? So this is multiple choice. You're picking A, B, C, or D. I'm not going to tell you because it says divided equally, okay? So this eliminates two answer options already. You can figure out if it's A or B. I know you can. I believe in you. Number 2, Tyler needs to complete this table for his consumer science class. He knows that 1 tablespoon contains 3 teaspoons and that 1 cup contains 16 tablespoons. So if 1 cup contains 3 teaspoons, then 2 cups, we would multiply by 3, right? 1 cup times 3. So 2 cups times 3 gives us the number of tablespoons. So, oh, no, I'm sorry. I said that incorrectly. The number of tablespoons is teaspoons. So, see, look, Miss Lily's doing it for the second time. Her brain's hurt. All right. So, sorry, 1 cup contains 16 tablespoons. So 2 cups would be 2 times 16. So that's going to give us 32 tablespoons. Here's where that 3 comes in. So 1 tablespoon gives us 3 teaspoons. So 32 tablespoons, to find teaspoons, would be times 3, which is going to give us 96. Okay? Now we're talking about a cup of teaspoons. Teaspoons are a smaller amount than tablespoons, so we should have more of them to fill 1 cup. So we can check our work and say, does that make sense? It does. All right. Now we know that 1 cup has 16 tablespoons, so 12 tablespoons is going to be a fraction of a cup. So 12 over 16 gives us, if we divide both sides by 4, both the numerator and denominator by 4 rather, we get 3/4. So that is 3/4 of a cup. Now this part is already done for us. We have 3 times 16 gives us 48. 48 times 3 will give us the number of teaspoons, so that's 24, carry the 2 is 144. All right, so we've completed the missing values in the table. B says, write an equation that represents the number of teaspoons T contained in a cup. Well, we know that 2 cups gives us 96 teaspoons, so 1 cup is going to equal 48 teaspoons. And if we want to write an equation to represent that, we would say 48 times the number of cups gives us the number of teaspoons. So if I have 1 cup, I have 48 teaspoons. If I have 2 cups, I have 96 teaspoons, and so forth and so on. Okay, number 3, the volume of dry goods like apples or peaches can be measured using bushels, pecks, and quarts. A bushel contains 4 pecks. So let's go ahead and create a table because we're talking about bushels, pecks, and quarts. So 1 bushel, a bushel, contains 4 pecks. A peck contains 8 quarts. So if we have 4 pecks, then we have 32 quarts. So it says, what's the relationship between the number of bushels and the number of quarts? That means that 1 bushel is 32 quarts. So our relationship would be 32 times the number of bushels gives us the number of quarts. So if I said there's 1 bushel, we would have 32 quarts. 2 bushels, there'd be 64 quarts, and so forth and so on. All right. Elena, our friend Elena here. She has $225 in her bank account. That's how much she has. That's her starting amount. So, and this is for this problem on the next page. She takes out 20 each week. So 20 times each week is how much she's taking out. And then at the end, that's how much she has left, D dollars. So because she's taking money out of her bank, she's subtracting from the bank account. All right, that's your equation. Starting amount minus what's changing, right? Our variable is changing every week. She's taking money out. And then how much money she has left. All right, number 5 is a little tricky because you have to think about ounces and money and people, and there's just lots of different variables we're looking at. So Priya's having a meeting. She wants to have fruit punch and cheese. She wants 8 ounces of fruit punch per person, 2 ounces of cheese per person. Including herself, there are 12 people in the club. A package of cheese contains 16 ounces. So let's stop for a minute. If there's 12 people and she wants 8 ounces per person, she needs 96 ounces of cheese. right? That's how much she's going to need. And, sorry, ounces of fruit punch. And then she has 2 ounces of cheese per person. 96 ounces of cheese would be a lot. She needs 2 ounces of cheese per person. So she needs 24 ounces of cheese for the whole group. Okay? So let's just keep those amounts in mind. A package of cheese costs 16 ounces, contains 16 ounces, and costs $3.99. So it only has 16 ounces in one cheese package, and we know that she needs 24 ounces. So she can't have just one. She's going to need 2 packages of cheese. Just going to put that on the side there. A 1-gallon jug of fruit punch contains 128 ounces. So we found out up here, I still labeled this as cheese, even though I meant juice. I'm so sorry. We determined up here that for 12 people, she's going to need 96 ounces of juice. Well, 1 gallon contains 128 ounces, so she only needs 1 gallon, and that costs $2.50. It says, let P represent the number of people in the club, F represent the ounces of fruit punch, C represent the ounces of cheese, and B represent Priya's budget in dollars. Now notice, even though this is a select all question, as I was reading this word problem, I'm annotating it, I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to figure out how things relate to each other before even looking at the question, right? And that'll help you when you go down to do the question. So letter A says F equals 8 times 12. Well, F we determined represents ounces of fruit punch. We also determined up above that she would need 8 ounces of fruit punch times 12 people. So we determined that she needed 8 times 12, 96 ounces of juice, and F does in fact represent ounces of fruit punch. So A is applicable to this scenario. It doesn't represent the whole scenario, but it does represent how we would find how many ounces of fruit punch she needs. Letter B says C equals 2 times $3.99. Remember, C equals, let's go back above, the ounces of cheese. So this is saying ounces of cheese equals 2, okay, that's 2 ounces here, times $3.99. Well, if I multiply ounces times money, I'm going to get money, right? That money that we're paying for each ounce, right, is going to be how much we would pay for 2 ounces of cheese. But that doesn't really make sense in this context because I'm not buying just 2 ounces. I'm buying 16 ounces for $3.99. And this gives us ounces of cheese, but we're multiplying money here. So this does not make sense in the context of this scenario. Letter C says 2 times $3.99. So $3.99 is how much each packet of cheese costs. We did determine up here that we need 2. So 2 times $3.99 would give us how much we'd pay for the cheese, right? Plus $2.50, we only needed 1 jug of fruit punch. So 2 times $3.99 plus the fruit punch equals B. B represents budget. That one does in fact work. Letter D says 2P, so 2 times the number of people equals C ounces of cheese. That is true because we have 2 ounces of cheese per person times 12 people. 2 times 12 gives us 24. We need 24 ounces. C ounces of cheese. And then, so that one's good. That one does work. And then E, 8F plus 2C equals B. Well, 8F would be 8 ounces times ounces of fruit punch. So that would be 8 ounces times 8 ounces plus 2 ounces of cheese times 2 ounces of cheese equals the budget. That doesn't make sense because nowhere in that equation is there money. We're all looking at ounces of cheese. So that cannot be counted as the budget. This is not super clear, so let me go ahead and we're looking at A, C, and D. I don't think that helped, but do what we can do. All right. Number 6, the density of an object can be found by taking its mass and dividing its volume. Right there, it's giving us really key information. Taking its mass, okay, and dividing by its volume gives us the density of an object. Information right there. So, if the mass is 500 grams, that's going to go in the numerator where the M is, divided by 40 cubic centimeters, that will give us D density. If the mass is 125 grams and we don't know the cubic centimeters, it's going to be V equals density. If the volume is 1.4, that's going in the denominator to replace volume, and the density is 80 grams, then the thing that we don't know is our mass, represented by M. And then the last one says the mass is M grams, which we determined using our equation up above, right? M over V equals D. This is a real equation. You can use it in science. All right, this last part is a review, just a quick review of percents. You don't need to calculate. You can just show me. If you'd like to calculate, you can. So we're going to do 1,250 times 6%. Here it's asking for just the sales tax, not the total price. So I'm going to multiply by this as a decimal, moving my decimal over 2 points. We're going to have 0.06. Here I'm looking at 500 times, again, 2.5. Moving that decimal over 2 points, we're going to have 0.025 here. Okay? Now, down below it's calculating the total of sales tax. So this is going to be increasing the cost, right? When we add sales tax, we're increasing how much it costs us. And so in this case, we're going to be using that add 1. Now remember, we can write this as 12, oops, lost my pen. We can write this as 12 times 0.01 plus 12. So this represents here the tax, and this represents the original cost. Or remember that I can also represent this as 12, the original cost, times 1.01. This is the same thing and you will get the same answer. So if you go ahead and map that out and try it out, calculate it, you're going to get the same thing here as here. Try this one, 105 times the sales tax of 0.07 plus, remember we have to still pay for the original price. That first part right here is just the tax, and then this is the price of it. And then we can also write this as 105 times 1.07, because again, this is 105 factored out of this is the same as 0.07 plus 1. When we add this together, we get 1.07. It's just a little bit of a faster way to calculate that total price after sales tax. All right, so that is it for our homework. Your code word will be cranberry, since there's this whole thing about fruit punch and juice or something. So cranberry is your code word. Write cranberry at the top of your paper, and you can get extra credit. I hope you have a wonderful long weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday.